Welcome. Welcome to Bluebonnet Crafters. My name is Gabi, and today I want to show and tell you about our new scarf project. I love to sample things, whether it's foods, for example, I love to go to buffets, or whether it's yarns. Trying out new yarns, new colors, one of my favorite pastime. And so a few months ago, when I went to my favorite local yarn store, I discovered Blue Sky Fibers wool stock mini hanks. And they come in two very scrumptious versions. The one is 21 color slouch kit, and the other one is a 21 color mitten kit. The difference is that you can see it here. The slouch kit has the 21 mini hanks. The mittens kit has 20 mini hanks and one big chunk of gray yarn, gray wool stock. I'm pointing this out because this will be relevant to our scarf project, because as you will see in a little while, if you just want to have a scarf or a cowl, all you need is the slouch kit. If you would like a scarf with fringes, you would go for the mitts kit, because then you have the fringe yarn here in this gray right with it. But let's take another look here at our scarf project. When I first saw these kits, I thought, this is interesting. So there is the hat and there are the mitts, but there's something missing in between, a scarf. So I decided I wanted to make a scarf, but I decided to not knit one, but to weave one. And this is how this hexagon scarf came all about. Any of those little hanks work out perfectly for the purpose of weaving on the original hexagon loom. This is the original hexagon turtle loom that's about 4 inches side to side, because each of those little mini hanks is 12 yards, which is the perfect length to weave exactly 2 hexagons from each of those little hanks. So let's take a look. Oh, by the way, I want to introduce you to Joan. Joan is our model today, and yes, you can see her beautiful hairdo. Joan is from the 80s, and she is very helpful for not just scarves, but for everything. But today she volunteered, or I volunteered her, to help us with displaying the scarf. Let's take a look at the scarf now. I just have a few words that I want to tell you about how I made the scarf. There will be extensive information online about how to weave the scarf. And one of the main purposes of this video will be to talk about some finishing aspects to the scarf, and you will see what I'm talking about in just a little while. Let's move our beautiful hanks out of the picture so that you can actually see the scarf, and then we will do a quick pass through just a few words about making the scarf. And you can see here all the colors, the 21 colors of the wool stock. It is so much fun to weave, I tell you. First of all, remember, this is like each of those little hanks is just enough for 2 skeins. For 2 hexagons. So here you can see, for example, exactly this pink 1, 2, and then here is the yellow 1, 2, and so forth. There's a green 1, 2, and the grays 1, 2. So it's really fun to weave. You make 2 hexagons in each color, and then you move on to the next color. There are 21 colors total, so you will be weaving 42 hexagons, and it goes faster than you can imagine. Quickly, let's talk about the assembly of the scarf. I'll show you the trick that we did to accomplish this here. And you can see, if you lay it out like this, you can pretty much see what's happening. First of all, the colors are really absolutely random, so there's no need to plan big. And what you do is, when you have woven your 42 hexagons, you start, I suggest you do it on a piece of design felt or a large towel. You start to lay them out randomly, and you can move things around until you like them. All you need to do is put 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. And then you move over a little bit and put another 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. Move it over a bit and put the next 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. And you see how this goes, and this will automatically shape your shawl. Let's just move this down a little bit so that you can see it more. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and so forth until you are done with all your hexagons. After that, and I'm taking some hexagons from other projects now to show you. So just imagine we pretend to do this again. Lay out 1. Let's start over here. 1, 2, 3. That's row 1. And then a little bit over. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more row. 1, 2, 3. And again, this is different yarn. I just want to show you how you can shape the scarf here. And so when you have laid them out and you like the layout, what you first do is you sew the hexagons to rows. So hexagon to hexagon, hexagon to hexagon, which will be your first row. Then you sew together the second row, hexagon to hexagon, right here, and hexagon to hexagon right here. Okay, so you have 3 connected and 3 connected, and you can, and after that you connect the rows. This means you move it down and then you sew the rows together right here. All right, so hexagon to hexagon first, and then row to row along those zigzag lines. The reason why I suggest that is there are actually several reasons. Number one, you can lay it out and you see what you get, and if you like it, you want to preserve it. And then you get the smoothest joins if you do the hexagons to hexagons first and then rows to rows. One thing I forgot to mention before is that, have the starting threads all point in one direction. Here I have them to the top and have the ending threads pointing in one direction. This will guarantee that all your threads will go into the same direction. So all threads across the hexagons go that way and that way. Okay? All right, let's take those off here right now. So this was just a very fast review of making the shawl. Again, you find more information about that online in the instructions on our blog. And but now I want to show you a little extra trick. In the introduction, I was talking about scarf versus a cowl. And the trick with this scarf is that it can be a cowl, or if you want to make a cowl, the cowl can be a scarf. You probably noticed that this is not all yarn. Something is clackering and clittering. Let me show you something. So we take the whole scarf here, and I will fold it over like this and like this so that the ends match, and you can see now how it looks like a cowl. And at this point I would like to ask that we zoom in, please. And now you can probably see that those little things here, so let me put a piece of paper under it, that those little things are metal lobster clasps. And what we're doing here, so I can show you them in here as well. What I'm doing here is I bought some 14mm lobster clasps. This is an item that you can find in the jewelry department or jewelry making department of any good craft store. So these are 14mm lobster clasps, and matching to that there are 9mm heavy gauge jump rings. You will need for our scarf a total of 14 lobster clasps and 14 jump rings, and I'll show you why. First of all, to turn our scarf into a cowl, I sewed on those lobster clasps to all the points on each side of the scarf. And there are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now you see that there are 2 sticking out here at the top, at the bottom, but the others all have partners. You see this? And so what we will do, and I think I hear you chuckle because it's pretty obvious at this point where this is going, we connect the lobster clasps to literally close the loop on turning our scarf into a cowl. Let me once again slide a piece of paper under here so that you can see. Yeah, this will show it nicely. So here now you can see how the clasps join each other and therefore join the cowl. And if we take this out, can we zoom out, please? Thank you. You can see how this now can be worn as a cowl, either just as one big loop, and you can actually, it's just long enough to do a double loop for this one. Let me show you this on Joan. All right, here comes Joan with the double cowl, and you can see this fits just perfectly. One's a little bit closer to your neck, and then you have still a nice loop down here. So this is what it would look like if you decide to wear it as a cowl. Now, if you, let me show you now the scarf version, and a scarf version with fringes. Let's see if I can get this quickly open up. And of course you can just slide it over the head. You don't have to open it every time. Here we go. Thank you, Joan, at least for now. So here we are. I'm back again. And you can wear the scarf the way it is, completely without fringes. But now I want to show you how you can quickly add fringes. Here are our fringes, and you can see here we have the lobster clasps, and the fringes are just that, and at the end those fringes have one of those jump rings. And all you do, yes, of course, you just put the jump ring on the lobster clasp, and here is your removable fringe. Quickly do this for the others. Actually, can we zoom in? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And here you can see again lobster clasp and jump ring with the removable fringes. And all you need to do is just put them on like this, and that's all there is to it. Let me just finish one side, and then I can show you what the scarf with fringes will look like. Actually, at this point, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but you have 7 lobster clasps on each end of your scarf. And so let's light this up a little bit. Here are your fringes. You can also say that they look a little bit like tassels. Tassels or fringes, they are both very fashionable at this point. I will show you quickly how to make one of those tassels or fringes. Let's put the scarf aside for now. And this is where the gray yarn comes in. Remember, if you do want to make the fringes, make sure you get the mitten or mitts kit, because that's the one that has the gray big hank in it. And I have wound it here to a ball. So all you need is a book, and I will make one fringe or tassel right now. For our project, I just wove it around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then you cut it apart over here. At this point, it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you have 5 strings that are approximately of the same length. And then you take those 5 ends and just match them approximately to the same length. Doesn't have to be perfect. Straighten them out. And now you take the crochet hook from your weaving kit and one of the jump rings. Put the jump ring on the crochet hook first, like this, and then you pull those 5 strings of yarn through the jump ring. It looks like this. You see the jump ring right there. Slide it to approximately the center of your strings, and then you match up the both ends. Again, you can see here it's not all even, but that doesn't matter at this point. About matching, and then you slide the jump ring here to the end. Take it and just make a very simple overhand knot right here. About 1/2 inch is between the knot and the jump ring, and tighten it fast. Go to the end, and now is the time to clip them to about the same length. And here is your tassel or fringe for your scarf. And all you need to do is attach it to one of the lobster clasps, and that's it. Okay, I have a few more, and then we'll take a look at the final scarf. So let's put all the tassels or fringes on at this point. So it's really very easy to do. Another thing is I'm showing you this here on our new scarf model, but the principle can be applied to pretty much anything, any other scarf too, whether you are weaving or crocheting or knitting. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to turn that into a video so that you can see how to do this and how easily this can be done. So at this point we have both ends with our tassels or fringes, and let's see how we can, how Joan will wear the scarf now. Can we zoom out, please? All right, here's Joan. Welcome back, Joan. And of course, the easiest is if you just loosely wear it around your neck without folding it at all. It's a nice length. It's not too long, but just long enough. There we go. An alternative is that you have one end a little bit shorter, the other end a little bit longer, and then you go once over the shoulder, which means you have one end in the back and the other end in the front with the tassels or with the fringes. Let me put this a little bit. Here you go. Here now you can see it. Move it down a little bit. All right. And of course, last not least, you can tie it with a loose knot. Let's bring this back from to the front, and then we loosely make one knot here and pull this out a little bit. So you can see there are lots of opportunities to wear your scarf, and you can wear it as a cowl, either as a single loop or as a double loop. All right, that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed watching turning a scarf into a cowl and a cowl into a scarf with fringes or tassels. Again, this works definitely for our beautiful hexagon scarves, but also for any other scarves. So I hope you will enjoy adopting that idea. That will be all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope we'll see you again. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.